Hi there, welcome back to my views and news. Today is Friday, so we'll have a live chat today. Starting from Friday, we'll have three live chats: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll be looking forward to see you with your questions and comments in today's live chat. We'll focus on Amhara, Tigray, Oromia, and Somalia too in today's live chat. Let's start with firstly two news stories. First one is from Somalia. Is Egypt going to be kicked out of Somalia? A Somalia's government official talked to the Voice of America yesterday. He talked about the constitution of new peacekeeping mission in Somalia. Will Egypt be part of the new mission or not? Egypt has been making preparations to send thousands of its soldiers to Somalia. Secondly, a group of African members of parliament visited Donetsk, Russia, Ukraine, disputed territory. And there, an Ethiopian MP who was part of the delegation talked about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And he showed interest to mediate between Russia and Ukraine. Can Ethiopia or can Africa mediate between Russia and Ukraine? Let's start with yours from Somalia. We know that new peacekeeping mission will take charge in Somalia on the 1st of January. After just 11 days, the new peacekeeping mission will take over. 5 countries are part of existing peacekeeping mission: Burundi, Uganda, Kenya, Djibouti, and Ethiopia. Ethiopia and Somalia have been involved in a bitter dispute, and Somalia threatened to expel Ethiopian troops from Somalia. Ethiopia refused to withdraw troops, but then issue was solved when the two leaders, Abiy and Hassan Sheikh, signed Ankara Declaration, facilitated by Turkey. Now, Somalia is reconsidering the inclusion of Ethiopian troops in the new peacekeeping mission. It seems that Ethiopian troops will be part of a new peacekeeping mission. And we could see official confirmation in coming days. So far, no withdrawal of any Ethiopian troops from Somalia. So it is clear that Ethiopian troops will stay there. What about the arrival, the entry of Egyptian troops? Egyptian military commanders have been part of discussions in Somalia, in Mogadishu, and Egypt sent some shipments of weapons to Somalia. We heard that Egyptian peacekeepers were being trained in Egypt to be sent to Somalia. Yesterday, a government official of Somalia talked to Voice of America radio service. And he talked about awesome African Union support and stabilization mission, new mission, which will take charge on the 1st of January 2025. He said 4 countries are going to, they have already agreed. Somalia has already agreed to the participation of 4 countries: Uganda, Burundi, Kenya, Djibouti. He talked about Ethiopia too. He said that Somalia is reconsidering Ethiopian inclusion too in the new peacekeeping mission. He did not talk about Egypt. Very interesting. Either Egypt won't be part of the new peacekeeping mission, or its participation won't be very significant. Isn't it a huge blow to Al-Sisi's ambitions to gain a military foothold in Somalia close to Ethiopian border? It seems that through Ankara Declaration, Ethiopia thwarted large-scale Egyptian military presence in Somalia. Is it diplomatic success for the Ethiopian government? I don't think so. Why? Because it was Ethiopian government's decision to sign MOU with Somaliland, which gave an opportunity to Egypt to make efforts to deploy its military to Somalia. So in a way, Ethiopia then defended itself. Ethiopia tried to correct a mistake which it made. It gave Egypt an opportunity to gain a foothold in Somalia. Later, it agreed with Somalia, and in a way, it froze MOU with Somaliland. It's not a diplomatic win, but it seemed that Ethiopia managed to prevent military deployment in Somalia. We'll have to wait to see that. So far, no official confirmation. I don't think that now large number of Egyptian troops will be deployed to Somalia. Let's see. Secondly, viewers, a delegation of African members of parliament visited Donetsk, Russia, Ukraine, border area. 12 members of parliament from 12 countries are part of the delegation. And there they spoke. Asheber Ole Georges is an MP from Ethiopia. He was also part of the delegation. And there he talked about Russia-Ukraine conflict. He severely criticized Western countries and the US. He accused Western countries of plundering African natural resources. He appreciated Russia and he announced to stand by Russia in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Interestingly, he offered to mediate between Russia and Ukraine. He said, Africa is ready, Ethiopia ready to mediate. The question is, did any African conflict end because of the mediation by African Union? Is African Union playing any role to solve the issue in Sudan? Did African Union resolve the conflict in Ethiopia? Did African Union solve the deadlock between Ethiopia and Somalia? No. Did Russia play any role? No. People say conflicts are ignited by Western countries in Africa. But who resolves those conflicts? In the end, Americans, Westerners backed and facilitated the Pretoria deal. They took Abiy and Ola to talk in Tanzania. They are the ones, American Saudis, holding talks about end to Sudan civil war. The Middle East and Europe, they are the players in Africa. Yes, they intervene in Africa. They create problems too, but they solve problems as well. Russians, Chinese, they have their presence in Africa. They generally support governments. Whether governments are democratic or dictators, they have nothing to do with that. They support governments and they don't show interest in solving issues. This is the main problem. Russia, China, while they claim to be neutral in African conflict, should work to solve conflicts as well, to solve issues as well in Africa. Take a listen to what Asheber Ole Georges said while in Donetsk, Russia-Ukraine border. Thank you for watching.
We know Ukrainians and Russians are very friendly nations. This proxy war which was induced by the Western countries, is dividing these brotherly countries. So for us, we as parliamentarians, we are ready also even to mediate these countries and to get rid of, Ukraine get rid of those Western countries who are always creating problem between Russia and Ukraine. So for us as a Pan-African Parliament, we are very firm in our position to stand by Russians and also to protect the people of this eastern region, and also to ask our Ukrainian friends to leave those Western countries who are creating more problems, who are creating, Americans especially, the Biden administration, who are creating problems in this region. You know, this problem is not only for Russia. It's a big problem also for Africa. Russians are not coming to Africa to loot our resource, to slave us. And that's why Sahel countries and others are going against Western countries. You know, if you go to Mali, all the gold mining belongs to France. If you go to Chad, same thing. Everything belongs to them. Now, Africans, we are aware. We are not stupid. We know everything. We know we are working in the best interest of the nation and the country and in the best interest of the continent.